Happy alone. The powerful truth every older woman needs to hear. Some mornings feel quieter than others. You wake up and the house is still too still. There's no one calling, no texts waiting, no laughter echoing from the other room. And in that silence, a thought creeps in. Is this what life looks like now? You've given so much over the years. Love, care, energy, time. And somewhere along the way, the circle grew smaller. Friends drifted. Family got busy. And now, it's just you. But let me say something clearly from one soul to another. You are not broken. You are not behind. And being alone does not mean you failed at life. There's a quiet strength in your story that the world doesn't talk about enough. Older women like you carry wisdom, resilience, and tenderness in ways no book could ever capture. Yet society rarely shows what it looks like to live this chapter in joy. Instead, it whispers that happiness belongs to the young, the partnered, the socially active. But that's a lie. Because there is a different kind of happiness, one that is softer, deeper, more rooted in truth. It doesn't need approval or applause. It doesn't arrive in a flurry of noise or social plans. It grows quietly, like a wildflower through a crack in the pavement. You're here now, not by accident, not by mistake, but because life is still unfolding for you. There's still laughter waiting, peace, beauty. There are still sunrises meant just for your eyes, music meant to make you sway in the kitchen, and small, sacred moments that don't need an audience to be powerful. Being alone isn't the end of the story. It might just be the beginning of the most honest, liberated version of you. So take a breath. You don't need to figure it all out today. But stay with me, because this space is yours. A space to rediscover how to be happy in your own company, to find comfort in your quiet, and to remember that you are worthy of love, starting with the love you give yourself. Number 1. Embracing the truth. Loneliness isn't a flaw. There's a quiet ache that comes with sitting alone at the kitchen table, with no one to call, no one asking how your day went. It's not just the silence, it's the weight of it, the question that lingers behind your thoughts. Why does it feel like I've been left behind? Let's start with a truth that hardly anyone says out loud. Loneliness is not a flaw. It's not a reflection of who you are or what you've done wrong. It's a reflection of life's changes. Time moves. Some friendships fade, not because of something you did, but because they were meant to last a season, not a lifetime. And even the strongest, most beautiful women find themselves at a crossroads where the phone doesn't ring and the calendar is suddenly blank. But that emptiness doesn't mean you've failed. It doesn't mean you're invisible. It means you're human. There's a hidden strength in facing that silence without running from it, in sitting with your own heart and letting it speak, in saying, yes, this hurts, but I'm still here. The world may not always honor this kind of courage, but I want you to, because the moment you stop blaming yourself for your loneliness is the moment you start reclaiming your power. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply in a new space, one that can feel unfamiliar, but also full of possibility. And just like the seasons change, so can this moment in your life, not by forcing connections or pretending you're fine, but by accepting where you are with tenderness. That is where healing begins. That is where happiness can grow. Number 2, rewriting your life story. There comes a time in life when you look back and realize how much of your story has been shaped around others. You were the caretaker, the dependable one, the strong one. You put others first because that's what love looked like. But now, when the house is quiet and the to-do lists have faded, a question starts to rise. Who am I now? Here's something powerful. You don't need to have all the answers to begin again. You just need to believe that this next chapter still belongs to you, and it does. It's easy to feel like your best years are behind you, especially when the people around you seem to be moving on with their own lives. But life isn't a straight line, and fulfillment doesn't only live in youth or relationships or busy calendars. It lives in meaning. It lives in presence, and meaning doesn't retire. It evolves. You've already lived through things most people wouldn't survive. You've loved deeply, lost deeply, and still found ways to show up. That matters. And now, you get to write a new kind of story. Not the one where you shrink yourself to fit in, or wait for someone else to invite you into joy, but one where you choose to be the center of your own life. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need one brave moment at a time. Maybe that means starting a garden, even if no one else sees it. Maybe it's reading poetry aloud just to hear your own voice again. Maybe it's trying something that always scared you, not because you have something to prove, but because you finally believe you're worth the effort. This isn't the end. It's the turning of a page. And the woman you're becoming, she is bold, free, and filled with a quiet kind of fire. So let her speak, let her write, let her live. This is your story, and it's just getting good. Number 3, discovering the joy of solitude. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. One is the absence of company. The other is the absence of connection. And here's the truth. When you start connecting with yourself, solitude becomes something entirely different. It stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like peace. You don't need a crowded room or constant conversation to feel alive. Some of the most meaningful moments happen when the world is still, when you can hear your own thoughts without interruption, when you can sit by a window, tea in hand, and notice the way the light hits the floor. That is not emptiness. That is presence. The joy of solitude isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or fanfare. It arrives quietly, in the freedom of not needing to entertain anyone, in the softness of choosing what your day looks like, in the beauty of being enough for your own company. This is the space where healing happens, where creativity stirs, where your heart starts speaking again, and you can actually hear it. Try waking up one morning and asking yourself, what would make me smile today? Not what others need, not what's expected, just you. You might be surprised by the answer. Read the book you've been meaning to, write something, walk a new path, sit under the stars, and remember how rare it is just to be here, alive, breathing, witnessing this moment with no one to please but yourself. When you stop fearing solitude, you begin to understand it's never been your enemy. It's been your doorway back home. Number 4, creating beauty in your own company. There's something profound about reaching the point where you no longer wait for someone else to make life feel beautiful. You do it for yourself. Not out of bitterness or defiance, but from a place of self-respect, from the realization that you are deserving of joy, comfort, and pleasure, whether someone else is watching or not. Light the candle. Use the nice dishes. Play your favorite song and dance in the kitchen barefoot. Put on lipstick just to feel a little more like yourself. These aren't small acts. These are quiet rebellions against a world that says beauty is only for the young, or only for women with someone to share it with. Creating beauty in your own company is a way of saying, I matter. I'm still here, and I'm not waiting anymore to enjoy life. Don't underestimate the power of these moments. They're not filler, they're fuel. They're the stitches that mend the torn places inside, the kind of moments that remind you joy isn't something you find out there. It's something you cultivate right here, in the ordinary. Grow a plant and name it. Make a playlist that feels like freedom. Find a corner of your home that's just for you, and fill it with things that make you feel alive. Paint, bake, write letters you'll never send. Not because someone told you to, but because you're worth the effort. You are not too old to delight in life. You are not past the point of beauty. You are still allowed to sparkle, still allowed to smile for no reason at all. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you stop chasing love and start embodying it. And that, my friend, changes everything. Number 5. Healing the heart. Letting go of past friendships. There are few heartbreaks more confusing than the quiet ending of a friendship. Not all relationships fall apart with shouting or betrayal. Some just fade. The phone calls stop. The invites disappear. People change, move on, build lives that no longer include you, and it leaves you wondering, was it me? Did I do something wrong? You didn't imagine those connections. They were real. They mattered. And you have every right to grieve what was lost. Whether it was a best friend from your younger years or someone you thought would grow old alongside you, it's okay to say that. It's okay to feel abandoned or angry or even ashamed. But here's the truth. No one says enough. Letting go isn't giving up. It's giving yourself room to breathe again. Sometimes we keep memories like old photographs, tucked away in our hearts, even if they no longer reflect who we are. And while those friendships might have shaped you, they don't have to define you. This is the time to reclaim that space in your heart, not by forgetting them, but by releasing the weight of trying to make it what it used to be. You don't need to carry their silence any longer. Letting go is not about bitterness. It's about freedom. Freedom to open yourself up to new kinds of connection, including the one with yourself. Freedom to stop rereading the same chapter and start writing the next. Your heart still has so much love in it. And that love, it doesn't need a perfect past to create a meaningful future. Let yourself begin again. Number 6. Cultivating purpose and passion. Again, there's a myth that as you age, your passions shrink, your purpose fades, and life becomes about simply getting through the day. But purpose doesn't belong to youth. Passion doesn't retire. In fact, sometimes the richest parts of life don't arrive until you finally have space to notice them. And ask yourself, what have I always wanted to do but never made time for? Maybe you used to love painting. Maybe you once dreamed of writing a book, or learning how to cook something new, or traveling somewhere quiet and beautiful. Maybe you want to volunteer, teach, create, build, explore, or simply breathe deeper in your own body. Whatever it is, that desire isn't random. It's your soul reminding you that you're still here, and you're still becoming. You don't need a title, a stage, or applause to live with purpose. Purpose can be planting seeds. It can be showing up with love. It can be waking up and deciding to care for your spirit today. Give yourself permission to want more. Not in a desperate way, but in a deeply alive way. Want more laughter, more wonder, more meaningful days. Not because something is missing, but because something inside you is still glowing. Start small. Let curiosity guide you. Take the art class. Join the community choir. Walk the trail. Say yes to the thing that scares you a little. Say no to the things that dim your light. You are not done growing. You are not done dreaming, and the version of you that's still unfolding, she deserves your full attention. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something you build, one small act of courage at a time. Number 7. Building new connections with self-trust. When you've been hurt, forgotten, or left behind, it's hard to trust again. And when you've spent years relying on others for company, it can feel terrifying to even imagine opening the door to someone new. But connection isn't only about meeting others, it's about meeting yourself with compassion first. That starts with rebuilding trust, not with the world, but with the woman you see in the mirror. Self-trust is quiet. It's born in the small moments, when you honor your own boundaries, when you listen to your intuition, when you say no without guilt, and yes without fear. It's choosing not to shrink in rooms that were never built for your joy. From that grounded place you can begin to connect again. Not out of loneliness, but out of fullness. Connection can look like smiling at the person behind the counter, talking to someone on a walk, or joining a virtual book club. It can be slow, gentle, on your terms. You don't have to rush into friendships or prove you're still social. What matters is showing up where you feel seen, where you feel safe, and most importantly, where you feel like you. Sometimes the first new friend you meet isn't a stranger. It's the version of yourself who's been waiting for you to return, the one who trusts herself again, the one who is no longer afraid to be known. Let connection start there. Conclusion. You are not alone in being alone. If no one has told you this today, you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not behind. You are living through one of the most courageous chapters a woman can face. Learning to love herself in the quiet, with no spotlight, no validation, and no guarantees. And you're doing it. You've felt the sting of silence. You've mourned the friendships that slipped away. You've questioned your place in the world. But through all of it, you've kept waking up. You've kept breathing. You've kept showing up even when no one was clapping. That's not weakness. That's power. Happiness alone doesn't come from filling the room. It comes from filling your own heart. It's in the soft rituals, the small joys, the deep remembering that you are enough just as you are. So don't wait for the phone to ring. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Make your life beautiful, not because someone else is watching, but because you deserve to live fully, out loud, and in love with your own company. Alone doesn't mean unloved. Alone doesn't mean unworthy. Alone just means you've got space now. Space to build something sacred, honest, and beautifully yours. And that is something to be proud of.